Have you ever noticed that the heaviest things we carry have no physical weight at all? Think about that. You can walk through a perfectly quiet room, sit in a comfortable chair, and still feel entirely exhausted, not because of any physical labor, but because of the invisible battles happening inside your own mind. If you have ever felt stuck, anxious, or emotionally drained by a thought you cannot seem to shake, this is for you. We all know the feeling. A thought enters your mind. It might be a memory of a mistake you made, a fear about the future, or a replay of a conversation where you felt ignored or misunderstood. You know, intellectually, that this thought is not helping you. You know it is only dragging you down. And yet, you cannot stop looking at it. You turn it over and over in your head. You argue with it. You try to push it away, only to find it pushing back twice as hard. Soon, it feels like you are trapped, not in a physical room, but within the walls of your own thinking. Here is the truth few people want to face. Most of your suffering is not caused by the thought itself. It is caused by how tightly you are holding on to it, believing it has absolute power over you. In Buddhist thought, there is a profound understanding of the mind's tendency to create its own suffering. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that the mind is a constant generator of thoughts. They arise and fall naturally, like waves. But our pain begins when we attach ourselves to a single wave, convinced that it will pull us under. We take a passing thought and turn it into a permanent reality. We believe that just because we think something, it must be true, and it must be dealt with immediately. Imagine a bird fluttering frantically inside a cage. It exhausts itself, crashing against the metal bars. It is terrified. It feels completely imprisoned. But what the bird does not realize is that the door to the cage is wide open. The only thing keeping it trapped is its own frantic focus on the bars, rather than the quiet, open space waiting just behind it. How often do we do this in our own lives? You sit at your desk, replaying a minor criticism, letting it steal the peace of your entire day. You lie awake at night, gripped by anxiety over a future event that may never even happen. You fight the thought, you negotiate with it, you try to control it. You exhaust yourself crashing against the bars of your own mind. Ask yourself, what is the thought you are fighting right now? What is the worry that is demanding all of your attention today? Is it possible that you are fighting a thought that would simply pass on its own if you stopped giving it so much of your energy? Stop. Breathe. Let that sink in. You do not have to fight the thought to be free from it. You are not powerless against your own mind. You just need to stop staring at the bars. Let the thought rise. Let it exist. Do not try to destroy it, and do not let it build a home inside of you. Just observe it. Because peace is not the absence of difficult thoughts. Peace is the refusal to let those thoughts make you a prisoner. But letting go of this internal fight is only the first step. To truly step out of the cage, we have to realize why we gave these thoughts so much authority in the first place. And this is where the next truth begins. 2. The illusion of the commander. What if the loudest voice in your head is not actually the one in charge? Here is a strange reality about how we live. When a thought enters our mind, we immediately assume it is an absolute truth. Worse, we treat it like a commanding officer. We believe that if a thought is urgent, loud, or painful, we must drop everything and obey it. If a sudden fear tells you that you are going to fail, your heart races and you scramble to fix a problem that has not even happened. If an insecure thought tells you that someone is upset with you, you spend hours overanalyzing a simple text message. We live our lives constantly taking orders from passing thoughts, terrified of what will happen if we do not listen. We let the mind become our master. But the mind was never meant to be a commander. Buddhist wisdom teaches a radically different approach to our internal world. In Buddhist thought, the mind is simply another sense, much like your eyes or your ears. Just as your ears hear sound and your eyes see light, your mind produces thoughts. That is its nature. But just because you hear a loud noise outside does not mean you must run into the street to chase it. And just because your mind produces a heavy, anxious thought does not mean you must follow it down a dark path. One of the deepest lessons of Buddhism is learning to witness the mind without obeying it. It is the practice of non-attachment. It is the realization that thoughts are events, not identities. Imagine a dark, turbulent storm cloud drifting across a massive, open sky. The cloud is loud, it rumbles with thunder, and it temporarily blocks the light of the sun. If you are standing directly underneath it, the storm feels like the only thing that exists. It feels all-consuming. But the sky itself is not destroyed by the cloud. The sky does not fight the thunder, nor does it try to hold the rain back. The sky simply provides the space for the storm to exist, knowing that eventually the wind will carry the cloud away. Your difficult thoughts are just storm clouds. Think about your own life and the heavy thoughts you carry right now. Perhaps it is the crushing pressure to succeed in your career. Perhaps it is a deep fear of falling behind in life, or the stinging memory of a relationship that ended poorly. When these clouds roll in, you tense up. You believe the storm is who you are, and you scramble to fix the weather. Ask yourself, how many times today have you taken orders from a passing fear? What would happen if you simply let the thought be loud, without running to obey it? You do not have to fight the storm. You only have to remember that it is passing. Pause, breathe. The next time a heavy thought tries to command you, do not salute it. Do not argue with it. Observe it silently, the way you would watch a dark cloud move across the horizon. Let the feeling rise without making it your identity. You are the observer. You have the power to watch the thought arrive, and you have the power to watch it leave. The illusion breaks the moment you realize you never had to follow it at all. But stepping out from under the command of the mind requires a shift in how we see ourselves and our internal space. And this is where the next truth begins. 3. You are the sky, not the clouds. Have you ever noticed how quickly a single thought can rewrite your entire identity? One moment, you are at peace. The next, a thought about a past mistake drifts into your mind. Suddenly, you are not just having a thought about a mistake. You believe you are the mistake. We do not just experience our thoughts, we become them. If you worry about an upcoming conversation, you become the worry. If someone ignores you, you become the feeling of being unvalued. You shrink your entire existence down to the size of one painful idea. You lose sight of your history, your strengths, and your reality, allowing a single passing thought to define exactly who you are in that moment. Here is the truth few people want to face. You are drowning in a glass of water simply because you forgot how vast you truly are. In Buddhist practice, there is a profound distinction between the observer and what is being observed. Buddhism reminds us that thoughts are not who you are. They are just things that pass through you. When you say, "I am angry," or "I am anxious," you bind yourself to the emotion. You make it your permanent state. But mindfulness teaches us a different language. It asks us to realize, I am experiencing anger. I am noticing anxiety. There is a space between you and the thought. You are the awareness, not the heavy thing passing through it. Look up at the sky. Throughout the year, the sky holds everything. It holds bright, white clouds, and it holds dark, violent storms. Sometimes the sky is choked with heavy gray fog, and you cannot see the blue at all. But no matter how dark the storm gets, the sky itself is never damaged. The sky is never stained by the rain. It does not shrink from the lightning. It simply holds the weather until the wind carries it away. When the fog finally lifts, the sky is still there, endless, clear, and untouched. We forget this in our rushing lives. You look at the success of others, and a cloud of comparison rolls in. You feel behind in life. You face conflict in your family, and a cloud of deep frustration covers your peace. You believe the storm is permanent. You feel broken by it. But that feeling is just fog. It is a temporary weather pattern moving through the vastness of your mind. It is not you. Think about your own life. What is the heavy cloud currently covering your sky? Is it a fear of not being good enough? Is it the lingering sting of someone who walked away? Are you believing that just because the sky is dark right now, the sun is gone forever? Stop. Breathe. Notice the thought without merging with it. Instead of saying, "I am trapped," quietly tell yourself, "I am noticing a feeling of being trapped." Create that small, silent space. Let the storm pass without becoming the storm. You do not need to push it away, and you do not need to pull it close, because peace is not found by clearing the sky of all clouds. Peace is found by remembering you are the sky, not the weather. But what happens when we refuse to let the weather pass? What happens when we try to fight the storm? And this is where the next truth begins. 4. The friction of resistance. What if the harder you try to push a heavy thought away, the stronger it becomes? Here is the truth few people want to face. We spend most of our lives at war with our own minds. When an uncomfortable thought arrives, a memory of rejection, a sudden wave of fear, a deep sense of loneliness, our immediate reaction is to fight it. We try to block it out. We distract ourselves. We tell ourselves to simply stop thinking about it. We treat our internal pain like an invader that must be defeated. We scroll endlessly on screens, fill our days with noise, or overanalyze past conversations, all to drown out a single uncomfortable truth. But the mind does not work through force. When you try to crush a thought, you only give it more energy. You trap yourself in a cycle of endless friction, feeding the very fear you are trying to starve. In Buddhist thought, there is a fundamental understanding of why we hurt so deeply. Buddhism teaches that pain is a natural, unavoidable part of life, but suffering is a choice. Suffering is simply pain multiplied by resistance. When we refuse to accept what is happening in our minds, when we say, "I should not feel this way," or "this thought needs to disappear right now," we create violent friction. We turn a passing discomfort into a heavy burden. Non-attachment is not just about letting go of physical things or past relationships. It is about letting go of the endless need to control your own internal weather. Imagine a fast, deep river flowing powerfully toward the ocean. If you wade into the center of the rushing water and try to stop the current with your bare hands, what happens? The river does not stop. It crashes into you. It violently pushes against your chest. You exhaust every muscle in your body, fighting for breath, convinced that if you just try a little harder, you can force the water to turn back. But the water always wins. The friction you feel is not the river hurting you. It is your own resistance breaking you down. The only way to find peace is to step to the riverbank and simply let the water flow. How much of your daily exhaustion comes from fighting the river? You stress over the speed of your life, wishing things would happen faster. You obsess over someone who is ignoring you, trying to mentally force them to care. You look at the polished lives of others, and you frantically try to fight away the heavy feeling of falling behind. You are standing in the middle of the rushing water, pushing with all your strength against thoughts and realities that are already moving. Ask yourself, what thought are you fighting right now? What feeling are you desperately trying to block from your mind? What would happen if, just for today, you stopped trying to push the river? Stop. Breathe. Stop trying to force the door open. Stop trying to hold back the current. The next time a heavy thought arrives, do not brace yourself for impact. Soften your resistance. Let the feeling rise and let it flow past you. Drop the armor you have built against your own mind, because peace is not found by winning a war against your own thoughts. Peace is found when you realize you never needed to fight in the first place. But dropping your resistance requires a profound moment of stillness before you react. And this is where the next truth begins. 5. The power of the pause. What if the most powerful action you can take when panic strikes is to do absolutely nothing? Here is the truth few people want to face. We are addicted to our own reactions. When a sudden, uncomfortable thought arrives, our immediate instinct is to fix it, fight it, or run from it. If someone misunderstands you, you rush to over-explain. If a fear about the future grips you, you frantically try to plan 10 steps ahead. You feel a sudden surge of anxiety, and you immediately search for a distraction. We have convinced ourselves that speed equals safety. We believe that if we do not act on a heavy thought the exact second it appears, it will destroy us. But this urgent, frantic reaction is the very thing keeping you trapped. Buddhist wisdom teaches the profound strength of stillness. In a world that demands immediate emotional reactions, choosing to pause is an act of deep spiritual rebellion. Buddhism reminds us that between a passing thought and your reaction to it, there is a tiny, almost invisible gap of time. Mindfulness is the practice of finding that gap and stretching it. It is learning that you do not have to answer every demand your mind makes. You have the right to simply wait. Imagine a glass jar scooped from a muddy river. It is filled with water, dirt, and sand. If you look at the jar and decide the muddy water is a problem, you might try to fix it. You might grab the jar and shake it frantically, hoping to force the water to become clear. But the more you shake it, the cloudier it becomes. You cannot force the dirt to settle through action. The only way the water becomes clear again is if you set the jar down upon a quiet table and step back. You must do nothing. You must let it sit in silence. Slowly, gently, the heavy dirt sinks to the bottom, and the water reveals its natural clarity. How often do you shake the jar of your own mind? When you face family conflict, when you feel ignored by someone you care about, or when you are overwhelmed by the pressure to succeed, your mind becomes cloudy with fear and frustration. And instead of letting it settle, you react. You send the frantic message. You replay the argument. You lose sleep trying to force a solution. You shake the jar until you cannot see anything clearly at all. Ask yourself, how many situations in your life were made heavier simply because you reacted too quickly? What are you afraid will happen if you let a thought sit in silence for just 1 minute before you respond to it? Is your instant reaction bringing you peace or feeding your fear? Stop, breathe. The next time your mind demands an immediate emotional response, give yourself the gift of delay. Let the feeling rise without making it your identity. Do not touch it. Step back and let the heavy dirt settle to the bottom, because true clarity is never found by rushing to fix an uncomfortable feeling. It is found by making space for the water to rest. But even when we manage to pause, we still tend to label our settling thoughts as enemies. And this is where the next truth begins. 6. Observing without judgment. Have you ever noticed that you do not just suffer from your heavy thoughts, but you also secretly punish yourself for having them? Here is the truth few people want to face. We rarely experience a painful thought by itself. We instantly attach a heavy label to it. If a wave of anxiety hits you, you do not just feel anxious. You tell yourself that you are weak for feeling anxious. If you find yourself overthinking a past conversation, you feel ashamed that you have not let it go yet. We divide our internal world into good and bad, acceptable and unacceptable. We go to war with our own humanity, constantly condemning our minds for simply doing what minds do. We believe that if we judge the negative thought harshly enough, we can shame it into disappearing. But shame has never once cured a heavy heart. In Buddhist thought, there is a gentle but profound practice of observing without judgment. Buddhism reminds us that thoughts are completely neutral in their true nature. They are just passing phenomena. It is our aggressive labeling of these thoughts that turns a passing shadow into a permanent burden. True mindfulness is not about building a mind that only produces pure, happy, and peaceful thoughts. That is an impossible illusion. True mindfulness is the quiet ability to watch a dark thought arise and simply say, "Ah, this is fear," or "Ah, this is sadness," without adding a single word of condemnation. Imagine a still, ancient lake resting at the bottom of a quiet valley. Throughout the day and night, the lake reflects everything that passes over it. It reflects the brilliant gold of the morning sun. It reflects the graceful flight of a bird. But it also reflects the dark, heavy storm clouds, the lightning, and the shadows of bare trees. The lake does not try to push away the reflection of the storm. It does not judge itself for reflecting the darkness. It does not cling to the sunlight and reject the shadows. It simply reflects what is there, remaining completely undisturbed in its deepest waters. How often do you demand your mind only reflect the sunlight? You scroll through social media, feel a pang of comparison, and instantly hate yourself for being jealous. You experience a moment of deep loneliness, and you judge yourself for not being perfectly independent. You make a mistake, and you instantly label yourself a failure. You are constantly trying to control the reflection on the lake, whipping the water into a frenzy because you refuse to accept the reality of the sky above it. Ask yourself, what thought are you violently condemning right now? Why do you believe that judging your pain will somehow bring you peace? Is this judgment bringing you clarity, or is it only feeding your exhaustion? Stop, breathe. The next time a heavy feeling arrives, drop the label. Observe the thought without following it, and observe it without condemning it. Let it exist. Do not call it bad. Do not call it broken. Just let it be exactly what it is, a temporary visitor passing across the water, because true inner peace is never found by going to war with your own shadows. It is found by giving yourself the grace to be completely human. But releasing our judgment is difficult when we are deeply tangled in the narrative the thought creates. And this is where the next truth begins. 7. Detaching from the story. What if most of your emotional pain is not coming from the event itself, but from the story you keep telling yourself about it? Here is the truth few people want to face. We are obsessive storytellers. When something uncomfortable happens, someone ignores you, you make a simple mistake, or you feel the heavy pressure of falling behind in life, you do not just experience the raw reality of the event. You instantly write a heavy narrative around it. You spin a massive web of meaning to try and understand the hurt. The unanswered message becomes, "I am entirely unloved." The conflict with a friend becomes, "People always leave me." The delay in your career becomes, "I will never succeed, and I am running out of time." You lie awake at night, not because of a simple passing thought, but because your mind takes a tiny grain of truth and wraps it in layers of fear, insecurity, and tragic outcomes. Soon, you are not reacting to reality at all. You are reacting to an exhausting fiction your own mind created. In Buddhist thought, there is a clear distinction between the initial pain of an event and the deep suffering we add to it. Buddhism reminds us that the mind naturally wants to build a bridge from a single passing thought to a permanent identity. We are struck by the first arrow of life's natural, unavoidable pain, but then we shoot ourselves with a second arrow by obsessing over a heavy narrative. The practice of non-attachment means learning to look at the raw event and gently refusing to build a painful story around it. Imagine sitting alone with a single small candle in an otherwise empty room. As the fragile flame flickers, it casts a massive, terrifying shadow against the far wall. The shadow stretches to the ceiling. It looks like a towering monster, dancing aggressively in the dark. If you stare only at the shadow, you will be paralyzed with fear, convinced that you are in deep danger. You will shrink away and brace for impact. But the shadow has no physical weight. It cannot actually hurt you. It is just an illusion created by a tiny light and the angle of the room. If you simply turn your head away from the wall and look at the small, quiet candle, the terror vanishes immediately. How often do you stare at the massive shadows on the wall of your own mind? You face a quiet moment of loneliness, and instead of just sitting with the stillness of the room, you stare at the shadow and tell yourself you will always be alone. You experience a moment of comparison on social media, and the shadow tells you that your entire life is a failure. You exhaust yourself because you spend your days fighting towering monsters that do not actually exist. Ask yourself, what is the raw truth of your current struggle, and what is the massive shadow you have added to it? Are you hurting right now because of what actually happened, or because of the terrifying narrative you attach to it? What would happen if you stopped reading the story? Stop. Breathe. Separate the raw event from the heavy story. The next time a painful thought arrives, observe the thought without following the narrative. Let the feeling rise, but refuse to add a single word to it. Do your part, then release the outcome. You can witness the flickering flame without believing in the monsters on the wall, because peace is not found by fighting the shadow. It is found by turning around and seeing the light for exactly what it is. But stepping away from the story is only possible when you can anchor your mind in the physical reality of the present moment, and this is where the next truth begins. 8. Returning to the ground beneath you. What if the only way to escape the heavy labyrinth of your mind is to remember that you are not actually trapped inside of it? Here is the truth few people want to face. We spend almost our entire lives completely severed from the present moment. When an anxious thought grips you, you do not just experience it in your head. You abandon your physical reality. You float away into a hypothetical future that has not happened yet, or you drag yourself backward into a past that is already gone. Your physical body is sitting quietly in a chair, but your mind is running wildly through a burning building. You are suffering from an illusion of time. We try to solve our heavy thoughts by thinking harder, but you can never think your way out of overthinking. In Buddhist thought, the ultimate anchor to reality is the physical body in the present moment. Buddhism reminds us that the mind is an endless time traveler, constantly fleeing the now because the now is quiet, and the fearful mind craves noise. But deep emotional suffering struggles to exist in the pure, immediate present. Anxiety requires the future. Regret requires the past. The practice of true mindfulness is not about emptying the mind of all thoughts. It is about gently bringing your awareness back to the only place where you have any true power right here, exactly where you are standing. Imagine a massive, ancient tree standing upon a high ridge during a violent storm. As the wind howls and the heavy rain lashes down, the highest branches of the tree are whipped frantically back and forth. They bend, they crack, and they seem entirely out of control. If you were to only look at the highest branches, you would believe the entire tree was about to be destroyed. But deep beneath the earth, the massive roots of the tree are completely still. They are wrapped firmly around the solid ground, holding the trunk in perfect, unbreakable silence. The tree does not try to fight the wind in its branches. It simply relies on the quiet strength of its roots. How often do you live entirely in the frantic branches of your own mind? You sit at your kitchen table worrying about an upcoming pressure at work, missing the quiet peace of the morning. You walk through a silent room, completely blind to the space around you, because you are replaying an argument from yesterday. You are letting the wind whip you back and forth, entirely forgetting that you have roots. Ask yourself, where is your mind right now? Are you actually experiencing the reality of this exact moment, or are you wandering through a heavy story that is not happening right now? What would happen if you simply came back to the physical space you are currently in? Stop, breathe, feel the actual weight of your feet on the floor. Notice the simple rhythm of your chest rising and falling. Hear the ambient sounds of the room around you. The next time your mind tries to drag you into the storm, do not fight the wind. Return to the ground beneath you. Observe the thought without following it away from the present moment, because peace is not found by figuring out the future or changing the past. It is found by realizing you are completely safe right now, but returning to the present is only the foundation. To truly find lasting freedom from the thoughts that trap us, we must be willing to finally open our hands. And this is where the final truth begins. 9. The quiet freedom of letting go. At the beginning, we spoke about the heaviest things we carry, the invisible burdens that leave us exhausted in a perfectly quiet room, the thoughts we turn over and over, fighting them, fearing them, letting them drain our energy and steal our peace. For so long, you have lived under the strict command of these passing thoughts. You have treated every heavy emotion like an emergency that must be solved immediately. You have believed that if a dark cloud rolls into your mind, you are the storm. You have stood in the middle of a rushing river, exhausting every ounce of your strength by trying to push the water backward. You have crashed against the bars of an open cage, completely convinced you were forever trapped inside. But look back at the space we have created today. The illusion of control is finally breaking. In Buddhist wisdom, the ultimate goal is not to achieve a perfectly silent mind. That is an impossible burden, and trying to force it will only bring you more pain. The true path to inner peace is found in the quiet realization that you do not have to fight the mind at all. True non-attachment is not about forcing the heavy thoughts to leave. It is about gently refusing to grip them so tightly while they are here. Think about the immense energy you have spent trying to conquer your own thoughts. Imagine tightly gripping a handful of dry sand. If you squeeze your fist with all of your strength, desperate to control every single grain, what happens? The intense pressure forces the sand to slip through the cracks of your fingers. The harder you squeeze, the more sand you lose, and the more your hand physically aches from the violent tension. The only way to hold the sand without suffering is to stop fighting. You must slowly uncurl your fingers, relax your grip, and simply lay your hand completely open. The sand rests there gently, naturally, without any friction at all. This is what it means to let go. Letting go is not erasing your past. It is not forcing yourself to stop caring, and it is not pretending that your fears do not exist. Letting go is simply opening your hand. It is the quiet, profound decision to let a heavy thought enter your mind, and then gently letting it leave without building a massive, terrifying story around it. It is stepping back from the rushing river and simply watching the water flow toward the ocean. It is sitting in the quiet room and recognizing that the shadow on the wall cannot actually hurt you. Ask yourself, one final time, what are you still holding on to? What are you afraid will happen if you finally stop fighting yourself? Stop, breathe, let that sink in. You do not have to chase what is already leaving. You do not have to forcefully evict the thoughts that trouble you. You just have to stop inviting them to sit at the head of your table. When the heavy thought comes tomorrow, and it will, you will be ready. You will pause. You will feel the solid roots beneath your feet. You will observe the thought without judgment, knowing it is just passing weather in the vast, endless sky of your awareness. You are the observer, not the commander, and not the captive. You have always held the key to the cage. You only had to remember how to use it. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. You can let go now.